Have you ever wondered about the untold stories of the German colonial era? Well, let's rewind to the late 19th century, when the map of the world was a canvas of imperialistic ambitions. Among the countries vying for global influence, Germany emerged as a significant player. The rise of the German Empire is a tale of ambition and enterprise. As the 19th century drew to a close, Germany, under the leadership of Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, began to look beyond its borders. The German Empire, a relatively late entrant to the scramble for colonies, was eager to catch up with other European powers such as Britain and France. The reasons behind Germany's imperialistic drive were manifold. There was the quest for resources, a thirst for new markets, and the allure of strategic trade routes. The colonies, spread across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, offered Germany untapped wealth and a chance to flex its economic and military muscle on the world stage. But it wasn't just about material gains. The German Empire, like many of its contemporaries, believed in the idea of civilizing the so-called less developed parts of the world. This paternalistic view, steeped in a sense of racial and cultural superiority, was another driving force behind Germany's colonial endeavors. However, the path to empire was fraught with challenges. Establishing control over distant lands, interacting with diverse cultures, and dealing with resistance from local communities were all part and parcel of Germany's colonial journey. The German colonial era, marked by the rise of the German Empire, is a fascinating chapter in history. It's a story of ambition and enterprise, of encounters between different cultures, and of the human cost of imperialistic ambitions. Thus, the stage was set for a complex and often tumultuous period in history. As we delve deeper into the shadows of the German Empire, we'll uncover the stories of those who lived through this era, their struggles, and their triumphs. We'll explore the legacy of this period, its impact on the world we live in today, and the lessons we can draw from these forgotten chapters of history. Imagine being a part of a world where cultures collide. Day-to-day life in the German colonies was a fascinating tapestry of interactions, where the German settlers and indigenous populations navigated their differences. This wasn't just a test of survival, it was an exercise in understanding and adaptation. Meals were a blend of German staples and local cuisine, resulting in a unique gastronomic experience that still resonates in the culinary landscapes of these regions today. The local languages seeped into the German vernacular as new words were coined and old ones took on new meanings. German crafts meshed with indigenous art forms, giving birth to a distinctive aesthetic that defied easy categorization. But it wasn't all harmonious. Challenges were inevitable in this meeting of cultures. Misunderstandings and disagreements arose, often leading to conflict. Yet, even in these difficult moments, there was an undercurrent of resilience and ingenuity. People found ways to communicate, to collaborate, to coexist. They learned from each other, adopting practices and customs that enriched their lives. They celebrated festivals together, shared stories around the fire, and worked side by side in the fields and factories. And so, amid the trials and tribulations, a new cultural landscape was emerging. A world that was neither entirely German nor entirely indigenous, but something in between. A world rich in diversity was taking shape under the shadow of the empire. What fuels an empire? This question takes us to the heart of the German colonial era. The engine driving this expansion was most certainly economic interest. Germany, like many colonial powers, ventured beyond its borders with a thirst for resources, trade routes, and the establishment of global influence. In the colonies, the German Empire found riches in the form of natural resources. From the fertile soils of Africa, plantations sprouted, yielding crops such as cotton, coffee, and rubber. These plantations did not just represent agriculture, they were symbols of control and dominance, each harvest reaping profits for the empire while stripping the land and its people of their wealth. Beneath the surface, the colonies offered even more. Mining operations sprung up, extracting gold, diamonds, and other precious minerals. These resources were shipped back to Germany, fueling its industrial revolution and bolstering its economy. The colonies became cogs in a vast machine, their resources feeding the insatiable appetite of the empire. Trade networks were also established, connecting the German Empire with the wider world. Through these networks, Germany exported its goods and imported what it needed, all the while strengthening its economic foothold. However, it would be an oversimplification to say that the empire's prosperity came without a cost. The exploitation of the colonies and their people was brutal. Local communities were displaced, their lands seized, their resources plundered, and their labor exploited. This was the dark underbelly of the so-called progress, a narrative often glossed over in the annals of history. The economic interests that fueled the German colonial empire were not just about wealth and power. They were about control. By controlling the resources and trade of the colonies, Germany was able to dictate the terms of their existence. The colonies were not partners in this enterprise, they were pawns. The wheels of progress, it seemed, were greased with the sweat and tears of the colonized. This was the price of progress, a cost borne not by the empire but by those it subjugated. The legacy of this exploitation is still felt today, a stark reminder of the true cost of empire. Can beauty emerge from adversity? This question prompts a deep dive into an often overlooked aspect of the German colonial era, the cultural exchange that occurred between the Germans and the local populations. As empires expanded and worlds collided, a unique blend of traditions began to take shape. The Germans brought with them their own customs and ways of life, but they also found themselves immersed in rich, diverse cultures that were vastly different from their own. This intersection of cultures led to a remarkable fusion. German influences seeped into the local customs, and vice versa, resulting in the birth of new art, music, and traditions. Imagine a melody intertwining the rhythmic drumbeats of Africa with the classical notes of a German symphony. Picture an artwork that merges the bold and vibrant colors of the Pacific with the subdued and intricate patterns of Germanic design. Think of a dance that blends the graceful movements of Asian traditions with the lively steps of a German folk dance. These cultural hybrids, born out of a tumultuous era, serve as a testament to the human capacity for creativity and adaptability. They are a reminder that even amidst conflict and hardship, the human spirit finds ways to express, to connect, to create. In the midst of turmoil, a unique cultural tapestry was being woven. Narrator: what happens when the oppressed rise against the oppressor? In the shadowy pages of the German colonial era, we find an answer. Resistance was not a matter of if, but when. It was the spark in the heart of the colonized, a flame of defiance against the German rule. Imagine life under the yoke of oppression. The German colonial authorities held the reins of power, but beneath this surface there was a growing unrest. Local communities, their lives upended and their cultures disrupted, began to rise, spurred by the indomitable spirit of freedom. In the heart of Africa, in the vast expanses of Asia, on the islands of the Pacific, the echoes of rebellion resounded. From sporadic acts of defiance to organized uprisings, the colonized began to challenge the might of the German Empire. Their tools were not just weapons, but a resilient spirit, a shared sense of purpose, and an unyielding belief in their right to self-determination. The Herero and Nama peoples of present-day Namibia, for instance, rose in revolt against forced labor, land dispossession, and racial discrimination. The Maji Maji rebellion in East Africa was a similar testament to the determination of the oppressed to reclaim their freedom. These were not isolated incidents but parts of a broader tapestry of resistance that stretched across the German colonial empire. The struggle was hard-fought, often at great human cost. Lives were lost and communities were shattered. But in the face of adversity, the spirit of resistance remained unbroken. Each act of defiance, each rebellion, was a step towards the goal of independence, a testament to the human desire for freedom. The echoes of resistance would forever resonate in the annals of the German colonial empire. These were not just battles against colonial rule, but a fight for identity, for dignity, for the right to shape their own destiny. The echoes of these struggles continue to reverberate today, reminding us of the power of resistance and the enduring quest for freedom. What is the legacy of the German colonial era? As we delve deeper into the echoes of the past, we see a legacy marked by a complex tapestry of triumphs and tragedies. The German colonial era left indelible scars of exploitation, visible in the socio-economic disparities that persist in former colonies. Yet, amidst the shadows of empire, there were also instances of cultural cross-pollination. German traditions intertwined with local customs, giving birth to unique blends of art, music, and societal practices. This era also ignited a flame of resistance, a spirit of defiance that would eventually lead to the fight for independence. This spirit continues to inspire and shape the narratives of these regions. The German colonial era, a chapter often relegated to the margins of history, has left a lasting impact, one that continues to resonate. The shadows of empire loom large, shaping narratives and influencing lives even today.